The Clash of Legends, Steven Sigul versus Frankck Duc. A duel so mythical it still echoes through martial arts circles 3 decades later. Hey everyone, hold on tight because we're about to break down every detail of this secret showdown between two giants with radically opposing philosophies. Picture it. No cameras, no flashy sponsors, just the pure essence of combat in an anonymous North Hollywood dojo. Only 30 privileged souls witnessed the clash, and today, we're taking you behind the scenes of that legendary night. When we're done, tell us which dream duel you'd kill to see. The comments are yours. Let's rewind to the late 1990s, an era when kung fu films flooded video stores and every teen dreamed of replicating Bruce Lee's moves. In this cultural ferment, two names crystallized the passion. Steven Sigul, the martial arts aristocrat, and Frankck Duc, the ghost with controversial feats. Their paths seemed parallel until an improbable spark brought them crashing together. First, Sigul. At 6 feet 2 inches with piercing eyes, the man commands respect before he even moves. Behind the movie star lies a purist. Trained in Japan during the 1970s, he bled and sweated to master Ido, that ancestral sword art where every motion is meditation. But his true gem is Laikidou, an obscure discipline built on economy of movement, where a single joint press can topple a giant. Did you know that at just 25, he revolutionized an Aikido dojo in Osaka? The Japanese masters, initially skeptical of this Westerner, ultimately bowed to his obsessive rigor. When choreographing fights for film, his colleagues nicknamed him the Metronome, because every timing was millimeter perfect. Facing him, Frankck Duc cultivates ambiguity as a weapon. His myth began with Bloodsport, that cult film where he played an undefeated Kumite warrior, a brutal underground tournament. Legend claims he KO'd 56 opponents in seconds, an unverified record etched into collective memory. His style? Koga Yamabushi in Jutsu, as elusive as his past. Imagine a martial art designed for medieval spies. Strikes from blind spots, stealthy footwork, blows targeting obscure pressure points. His mentor, the shadowy Senzaka, was supposedly a direct descendant of Koga ninjas. Some experts doubt it, of course, but how can we ignore his supernatural speed glimpsed in rare training footage? The contrast is staggering. On one side, Sigul's academic precision. On the other, Duc's methodical chaos. In dojos, debates still rage. Traditionalists see Sigul as the samurai's rightful heir, while rebels idolize Duc, the outlaw defying conventions. One thing's certain. When their presence was confirmed at that private North Hollywood exhibition, the impossible suddenly became tangible. This discreet event felt like a secret society gathering. No casual spectators, only weapon masters, seasoned stuntmen, and hand-picked martial arts historians. Officially, it was about sharing unpublished katas and discussing ancient styles preservation. But beneath the dojo's rafters, one question burned on every lip. What if they faced off? In the days leading up, wild rumors swirled. Whispers claimed Duc had mocked Sigul's dancing cinema, that Sigul had retorted by calling Duc's techniques amateur circus acts. Tension spiked when both men were spotted discreetly studying each other's moves during demonstrations. When the day arrived, the air turned electric. Guests accustomed to elite bouts sensed they'd witnessed the martial equivalent of Picasso meeting Van Gogh. No official ring, just a cleared space at the dojo's center. Sigul entered first, clad in a pristine white gi, his hands calmly resting on his thighs. Duc followed in black, a cryptic half-smile on his lips. Neither feigned friendship, their bows were as brief as sword strikes. In the room's absolute silence, you could almost hear their breaths synchronize. That day, the North Hollywood dojo hummed with electric tension. Picture the space. A modest, almost austere room, yet impeccably clean. The central mat, slightly worn from years of practice, was circled by folding chairs where spectators, mostly initiates, waited in reverent silence. No cameras to immortalize the moment, no mics to amplify sounds, just the squeak of soles on tatami and the held breath of privileged witnesses. It felt like an ancient ritual, far from modern spotlights. Steven Sigul entered first. Dressed in a pristine black gi, He moved with calculated slowness, as if each step bore the weight of his reputation. His physical presence was striking, broad-shouldered, gaze piercing beneath furrowed brows. He acknowledged a few acquaintances with a nod, no wasted words. Then he began warming up with surgical precision. Shoulder rotations, fluid stretches, circular hip motions. Every gesture seemed drawn from millennia of meditation, echoing traditional martial arts masters. His silence spoke volumes, imposing a near-tangible respect. The arrival of Frankck Duc shattered the stillness. Clad in a white GI that stood in stark contrast, his black belt meticulously tied, he swept the room with a piercing gaze. His greetings were brief, sharp, before launching into a radically different warm-up. In-place hops, phantom kicks, rapid lateral shuffles. Where Sigul embodied the unshakable mountain, Duc resembled a torrent poised to cascade downhill. Their styles already announced themselves as martial arts yin and yang. The moment they met at the center of the mat crystallized the tension. Their handshake was firm, fleeting, devoid of smiles. Their eyes measured each other in a silent dialogue blending respect and challenge. In the stands, some spectators held their breath, aware they were witnessing something transcending mere sparring. A venerable referee, his face weathered by decades of practice, gravely recited the rules. Full contact combat, but with strict safeguards. No head strikes, no intent to injure. A philosophy inherited from ancient Budo codes, where self-mastery trumps brutal domination. Both men nodded in unison, their expressions impenetrable masks. Only their eyes betrayed a searing intensity. At the signal, silence became absolute. Sigul assumed a low stance, weight evenly distributed, hands open like sensors primed to intercept. Opposite him, Duc danced on the balls of his feet, his body swaying like a living metronome. The first 10 seconds unfolded as a ballet of mutual observation, their concentric circles tracing tactical geometry. Duc shattered the stalemate. In a flash, his fist shot toward Sigul's torso, a jab of fearsome precision. But Sigul pivoted with perfect economy, letting the strike whistle past his chest by millimeters. The counter came instantly. Duc's low kick, evaded by Sigul's hip shift that allowed him to place a light palm on his opponent's sternum, arresting his momentum like an invisible brake. Exchanges cascaded, each man revealing his martial philosophy. Duc, the impetuous strategist, layered feints and rapid combinations. A jab followed by a body hook, deflected at the last instant by Sigul's forearm. The latter, in a fluid motion worthy of an Aikidou master, seized Duc's wrist and initiated a joint lock. But the white GI fighter disengaged with feline grace, drawing admiring murmurs from the crowd. The duel became a mesmerizing bodily conversation. Duc played with speed and mobility, launching spinning kicks masked by false attacks. Sigul controlled the central space with a fisherman's patience, letting his opponent expend energy on peripheral assaults. When Duc finally breached his defense, a two-punch body combination that forced Sigul back a step, the response was lightning. A wrist grab followed by a sweep that sent Duc sprawling. Yet he rolled mid-fall and rose before his back grazed the mat. As minutes passed, the fight revealed its true nature, a clash of temperaments as much as techniques. Spellbound spectators watched dominance shift. A lock here, a combo there, neither gaining decisive ground. Air vibrated with fighters' breaths, the crisp snap of controlled impacts, the scrape of feet on tatami. Each movement was both attack and response, a question posed to the other's body and an immediate answer. This combat held profound psychological depth. Every feint, every glance became coded messages between warriors. Duc and Sigul stood like opposing mirrors reflecting unyielding resolve. Neither showed frustration or doubt. A mental duel where every breath mattered as much as physical blows. The turning point came midway, when Duc suddenly detonated the intensity. After balanced exchanges, he unleashed a three-phase assault. A whipping head kick followed by a lightning sweep targeting Sigul's lead leg. The impact echoed through the dojo, forcing the traditionalist to adjust his millennial posture. Duc pressed ruthlessly. A knife hand strike sharp as a blade to the neck, then a palm strike that vibrated his rival's chest. Sigul retreated half a step, imperceptible to the untrained eye. His face remained stone, but initiates in the crowd held their breath. Duc had scored an invisible point on the fight's mental ledger. Sigul's response unfolded like a river carving its bed. His footwork grew heavier, more imperious, gradually constricting Duc's breathing space. He locked down angles, transforming the mat into a chessboard where each square became a trap. When Duc attempted another sweep, Sigul had already dissected it in his gaze. A lateral shift of mathematical elegance, a counterbalance exploiting the attacker's momentum. Duc staggered but didn't fall. His offense died like fire starved of oxygen. Now, the air was thick with the acrid smell unique to great confrontations. Sweat, tatami resin, and burning will. The fighters' staccato breaths punctuated the duel. Duc still danced, unpredictable as lightning, while Sigul locked down space with glacial patience. The crowd witnessed the collision of two universes. Here, anarchic swiftness. There, relentless geometry. In the stands, elders whispered names of long-gone masters. This battle evoked foundational legends for them. Fatigue became a third adversary. The pauses between assaults stretched by 1 second, then 2. Duc studied Sigul's shoulders like a hunter tracking prey's tremors. Sigul, meanwhile, fixed his gaze on his rival's torso, reading the microtensions in muscles to anticipate strikes. Suddenly, Duc sprang like a released coil. A low kick whipping the calf, left jab, right hook, followed by a roundhouse kick tearing through the air. Sigul retreated until brushing the mat's boundary. A storm had just engulfed him. In that moment when Duc thought victory was his,